Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. I'm a little late on this. I watched it a little while ago and I was like, this is so weird. And then I was doing this whole piece on my main channel about Kamala Harris and her connections to Marxism and how that leads to communism, and her new vice president pick and how he's a socialist, and all of it just knocks on the door of communists when you really look at what they're saying, talking about equity, talking about everybody ending up in the same place. The fact that Kamala's father was a Marxist professor himself, an economist, it was all very, it just kind of all pushed me towards this clip once again. I ignore people like this usually because it gets me a little amped up when I see people trying to bring back something that's responsible for about 100 to 150 million deaths worldwide, and they want to bring it to the greatest country in the world. It's always very disturbing to me, and there's some other things we're going to go over as well. But check this clip out.
Last war 2024. Fight the rich, beat the poor. Fight the rich, beat the poor. Last war 2024. Last war 2024. All the wars have got to go. Last war 2024. Last war 2024. Fight the rich, beat the poor. Fight the rich, beat the poor. Last war 2024. Last war 2024.
As I'm reading, and that was going on in Philadelphia, okay, they were doing this whole big march. Funny how the media didn't really cover this. I didn't see this on any mainstream media sites. I didn't see this MSNBC, ABC, CNN. I didn't see anybody really talking about this all that much. But it's just funny how if it was somebody else, if it was like a Trump march, it would have got covered. Those people would have got branded as the regular, racist, misogynistic, violent, scary, all of the above, Wow. So this is actually going on in Philadelphia. And as I'm reading the literature on Karl Marx, like right now I'm reading about his life story. I'm reading about communism. I'm reading about the Bolshevik. It's about Lenin and all these different things, and seeing how it all starts every single time. I haven't gotten to Mao and all of that yet, but just hearing how it all starts and hearing them yell class war 2024, talking about the working class, it really gets me going, because this is the and Kamala as well, talking about everybody needs to end up in the same place, and she kind of cloaks herself in a I'm just trying to defend black people, I'm just trying to provide for black people little cloak that we can't poke at all, because who wants to be labeled as racist, right? You don't want to be insensitive, and these people are doing the same thing. All these wars got to go. That's very true, but what they want to usher in, if all these people are communists with their hammer and sickle flags, what they want to usher in is going to come with war. Anybody who follows these type of ideologies, they know that Karl Marx said that there would always be a final war. It's always like, oh, well, we're just going to bring this about, and then anybody who resists us, that will be the last time there will be any type of violence. It won't happen again, because once we take care of them, we'll be able to have this utopia. And it never works out that way at all. I got some other clips for you in this context. Now, this gentleman, I remember Jimmy Dore saying this guy's name the last time he appeared on the podcast. And I was like, where do I know that name from? But I've seen him on not on Instagram, on Twitter quite a bit. Jackson Hinkle. Then I don't know if what he's doing here has any connection to this. This seems to be Revolutionary Communists of America. Jackson seems to be pushing something called the American Communist Party. I can't believe there are two factions pushing this absolute nonsense. It's very hard not to swear. I've taken up not swearing, though, for YouTube and for the younger people, and good example, blah, blah, blah. But this is nonsense. But I will play what he has to say, because why not? Let's hear him. He's a communist.
How's it going, everybody? Jackson Hinkle here in Chicago, proud to announce the launch of the American Communist Party. The working class of this country have been deceived, lied to, and abandoned by the establishment, by Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, and Greens alike. And now we are here to unite for a future that will provide a vision for the liberation of the American working class, and also the freeing of America from the control of the warmongers and the corporate elite. At a moment like this, with the genocide going on in Gaza, we're on the verge of World War III with Russia and with China and with Iran now. Now is the time to come together and fight to build something new. I'll have more details and announcements regarding this party very soon, but be sure to follow at ACP Maine on Twitter. It's so beautiful. We have that. Lots of new content, videos, and a declaration of the launching of this party. Check it out. You will not be disappointed.
I'm already very disappointed. Again, if you read the literature, everything he's saying, this is exactly what was said in Russia. This is what was said in China. This is what is said every single time. Oh man, you can't trust those Republicans, those Democrats, the Libertarians, the Greens. All of them are wrong. I have the only solution. This is the only solution, and I have it right here. In fact, all of those parties and systems, all of that has to collapse. And you know what that brings me to? Karl Marx said, because I'm reading all about this guy right now, he said that there is a need for every system to collapse, like defund the police, things of that nature. All of them have to collapse. Republicans, the whole structure has to collapse so they can emerge as the new creators. And that's exactly what this guy's trying to do. And what do? They try to appeal to the workers. They try to gather up people. You know who else does that? I'm just going to say there's an alphabet community that tries to do that. And they have a plus at the end. You know what the plus means? Anybody. Come on. Because if you get enough of these minorities, enough of these downtrodden people, you will then have the majority, and you'll be able to go after the people you want to go after. We see that in politics. We see that in the left happening. And we also see that in the ideology that this gentleman's pushing. Now, the reason that I heard this name in the podcast is Jimmy Dore was talking about this guy being his friend, which is all well and good. Jimmy's an old school left guy. And then I was looking into this whole website, not the website, the X page. You guys can check it out if you want. And then I was like, who follows this guy that I know? I was like, Jackson. Oh yeah, I follow him. Okay. Thought so. Dan Cohen, Jimmy Dore. And Jimmy Dore also follows me. Shout out to Jimmy. Thank you very much. But it's just very, very interesting. Okay. American Communist Party. That's what's going on here. I'm not going to say I'm afraid. I'm going to say I'm angered when I see things like this taking shape. More angry when I see that take shape than seeing woke ideology flourish. Because the woke ideology goes hand in hand with communism. It's a little more radical. You know, Jackson's sitting there. Guy looks very well-to-do, very clean cut. You know what I mean? These people here, they look very well organized. You know, nobody's going out of control. You know, nobody's wearing any weird leather bondage and blue hair and all that stuff. They all look like pretty normal people. You know, I guess where the woke goes is it gets very radical in their look and in their rhetoric and everything. You know, but when I see this forming, when you're saying you're communist, see, a lot of the woke people, they hide it. They hide it in socialism. They hide it in just saying they're anti-imperialism. But when I see people outright talking about being communists in America, it saddens me because it's the greatest country in the world and it is the last stand. Let me tell you something. If America were to fall to communism, the world will fall to communism. If America gives up their freedom, their constitution, their rights, if that gets given up by Mother America, it is over for the rest of the world. It really is. This really is the last stand. And a lot of people from a lot of different areas, a lot of different places in the world will tell you the exact same. It is the last stand of actual freedom, where you can actually work and become something above and beyond what you thought possible. You can put in that work and do that. And when something like this comes along, it's telling you, listen, it doesn't matter what you do. You're only going to get this much. But guess what? The people who don't have a lot, they're going to get the same as you. And guess what? You're going to work just as hard. That's how that works. And again, because they have a problem with billionaires, what has to happen? It's just the last time there'll be any violence. They'll have to go after people who are rich. And it's not just people who are billionaires. They always make it seem like it's just billionaires. It's the 1%. It's the people who are making, if they say everybody has, if they deem 60,000 is all everybody needs, because there'll be bread lines and everything will be met. Don't worry. 60,000 is all anybody needs. Anyone who makes more than 60,000 that doesn't want to give that up, it has to be taken from you by force. And if you're too much of an upstart, you have to be removed from that society. This happens again and again and again. And that's why it's so worrisome when Kamala Harris talks about this exact thing. I think Jackson and Kamala would get along just fine.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution.
Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place.
Everyone but her, because she wants to be in the highest office, the highest position of power. And, you know, only Donald Trump is the only person I've seen go into office, lose hundreds of millions of dollars. I've never seen it anywhere else. Barack Obama comes out worth 9 figures. Biden comes out worth, I think, high 8 figures, something of that nature. Everybody leaves office worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I don't think that's going to stop with her whole equity and ending up in the same place. It's very interesting the way that happens. One thing about all this, though, I wonder if this is still a thing. Now, this is a law. It's from 1954, as you can see. It's an American law signed into being by President Dwight Eisenhower on August 24th, 1954. It's almost its birthday. And it's a law that outlaws the Communist Party of the United States and criminalizes membership in or support of support for the party or communist action organizations, and defines evidence to be considered by a jury. So I wonder if this is still something that takes place, because if it is, then what's going to happen to all these people? I can tell you right now, so far, nothing's happened to any of them. Nothing's happened to these people, and I'm not calling for anything to happen to them. I just noticed that there's a law, and these people are doing this. This guy's starting this up, you know? So I'm just puzzled at that part, you know? I don't know, guys. I don't know. You know, you got to really... I keep telling people... You know, there's a book that Ben Carson recommended when he was on Tucker Carlson, The Naked Communist. I've been reading through that. It's very interesting. Breaks down the life of Karl Marx. It also breaks down the life of Lenin. And then it gets into this whole thing about the fallacies and the promises that come with communism and what actually happens. Then there's Communist Manifesto. There's so many different things. And I know it's not fun to read these things or listening to these things. They're very dry, of course. But I liken it to this. If I teach you the word narcissist, and you're like, okay, narcissist. And then I tell you what it means. And I give you a breakdown of what it means. And then I show you examples of people in the world. I show you Gavin Newsom. I say, hey, this is a narcissist here. Look. It's a perfect example. I show you examples of this. When you go out into the world and you start talking with people, you're going to be like, I know what this is now. Whereas if you don't know the word and you don't know the examples, you have no idea what you're looking for. You don't even know when you encounter it. And the same thing goes for ideologies like this. It may not be something you support, and it may not be something that you even care to delve into, but it's important to know when you're out in the world where you can see it. And for me, because I do so much research in politics, I'm starting to see it in politics a lot. You know, Kamala stood out the most. AOC, with a lot of things she says, stands out a lot. There's a lot of people in the left, and it's not everybody, but there's a lot of people on the left where you notice, oh, they're not just pulling this out of their nether regions. This is a long-standing thing that they're trying to implement very slowly. And again, they're trying to disguise it in, I just want to help the working class, although they never do. And I just want to help black people, although they never do. And I just want to help, the alphabet community. And then you look and they never really do. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. So I just wanted to bring you guys that. It's I know it's a dry subject. I didn't get as funny as I usually do. It's hard to get funny when it comes, when it comes to these guys. I swear, I'm doing this on stage. Listen, you ever come see me in a show, I'm sorry. I'm burning a bit right now. This is called burning a bit. I'm burning a bit. I don't do the whole crowd work clips. I'm burning bits. That's what I'm doing. This right here, when I see this, I see a bunch of kids just being like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of being able to get whatever I want. I'm so tired of being able to go to the grocery store and buy all my groceries. Ugh. I want a bread line. Hey, Dad, Donald Trump, why can't I have bread lines? And your dad, Donald Trump's like, you don't need bread lines. This is the greatest country in the world. You don't need bread lines. You have money, you have opportunity. And they're like, oh my God, I just want bread lines. Oh my God. Why don't we have a gulag? Russia has gulags. Why can't I go to the gulag? I want to go to the gulag when I grow up. Starts running downstairs. I'm moving to Russia. None of them are moving to Russia. None of them are moving to China. Why? It's already started there. You're good. Just move there and be like, hey, I really like communism. I like the way you guys do it. I like bread lines. You know what? I've been really hankering to stand in line for bread. And you know something? My body fat percentage, way too high. I'm looking to starve a little bit. Hey, North Korea, room for one more? Hey, room for one more, North Korea? Oh, I'm just trying to get a 6-pack. I was hoping I could eat grass with the rest of your population. I'm hoping I could just starve for a little bit, get the 6-pack out. It'd be summertime. I'll head back to Miami after. Oh, I can't leave okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Are you kidding me? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Get out of here. What are you doing? Just go. Go. See, this is the thing. There's so many people who are illegal. They're coming in illegally. And you're like, man, why is this happening? And then there's some incredible people who come to America legally. And they just want to work, and they just want to build businesses, and they just want family. That's it. They want the nuclear family. They want to build businesses. They want to own homes. They want to stay out of trouble. Trade these guys, man. Trade them. What do we need these guys here? Oh, it's the working class. Go to somewhere where the hammer and sickle is in full effect. Go somewhere where it's happening. You'll be fine if this is what you like. The problem is that they want the American freedom. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want Doritos and they want a 6-pack. Nah, you don't get both. You don't get both. Gotta go gulag. Gotta go to gulag and eat porridge. That's it. You gotta do it, Oh my God. You gotta break rocks for a little while. Gotta go to re-education camp. Absolutely ridiculous, man. I'm telling you, these guys get me annoyed. They get me so annoyed. I just wanted to bring that to you guys. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. And other than that, I'm out.